This is Singles Exchange. Let's talk, let's hang. This is Singles Exchange. Singles Exchange.
Welcome back to Singles Exchange, a podcast that focuses on conversations, connections, and community. As always, I am your host, Joy J, and we have another installment to our Discourse on dating. Today, we're going to be talking about dating after I do. But before we get started, you know the drill. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Singles Exchange on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and whatever your podcast streaming platform is. Also, Singles Exchange merch is in, so be sure to get your shirt before they sell out because they are going really, really fast. All right, so first, we're going to introduce our guests for today, and I'll let them tell who they are, and then we'll get into their organization. So, whoever wants to go first.
Hello, everyone. I'm the talkative one. My name is Tisha, and I am the founder of Date Night.
Yay.
I am Doug, and I am the co-founder of Date Night as well.
Yes, and I am actually the associate director of Date Night. So we're kind of doing a little collab with Date Night and Singles Exchange, and we're going to get started. So first, tell me, what is Date Night?
What is Date Night? No, I'm just joking. Date Night is a community of married, engaged, and seriously dating couples. We get together and we do a lot of relationship enrichment activities. We do some couple skill building, some challenges here and there, and we have a whole lot of fun. That's the best part about Date Night. A whole lot of fun. We do crazy activities. We've done heroes versus villains. I don't know. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone and y'all get to arguing and it's like you the good guy and they the bad guy and y'all going at it? So we did a heroes versus villains bowling night where we dressed up and went bowling. We did a cartoon couples costume party, and we dressed up as different cartoon characters, like we were Marge and Homer Simpson. And we just do a lot of different activities in the community and just trying to build marriages, trying to build some kingdom marriages.
And actually, another event that they did when we partnered with Singles Exchange before, we did a stoplight party, which was a lot of fun. Of course, we couldn't do it again this year because stupid COVID. But we'll get back to our event sometime soon.
Yes, because it was definitely a ball. That was one of our first collaborative events, and it went exceptionally well. Singles Exchange is thebomb.com since day one.
Since day one, just like Date Night. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about Date Night, and then we'll transition to talk a little bit just about who the Perrys are and how they came to be. So, how do you think Date Night has impacted your other people's marriages, and how does that fuel you in your marriage?
Well, you want me to go? I'm the talkative one. I told y'all. Date Night has fueled me in my marriage in the sense that I don't want to ever, fake is not for me. I always want to be 100%. So I don't want to encourage someone to be in a relationship and tell them, oh, you can be in a relationship, you can be in a marriage, and it can be healthy and happy despite the world that we live in, and not be living that for myself. So it definitely encourages me. Every time we have a different subject each month, it makes me reflect on my own marriage and my own relationship and how what we're sharing actually applies to us first. It's like the word of God is a double-edged sword, kind of like that type of a situation for me. As far as affecting other couples, for a while, you know, everything has ups and downs. So there were a lot of downs where I felt like, you know, we weren't being as effective. I didn't see any fruit from our labor, and we were laboring. Like, we put a lot of time, money, effort, and energy into Date Night, especially at the beginning phases. Like, we put a lot in it, and I would still get phone calls like, hey, it's not working out, we're getting divorced, or, you know, things like that that really just kind of took me to a low. And it would, every so often, I would get an email or a Facebook message from someone saying, oh my God, you know, because of this series you guys did, me and my boyfriend have talked and now we're planning to get married. Or because of this series that you did, it really helped us to work through some issues within our relationship. So here and there, I get feedback from people. So guys, I love your feedback, keep sending it. But getting feedback from people to show that the things that we are doing and the efforts that we are putting in are actually helping, like I said, with helping someone to decide to get married and stop just living together, or encouraging somebody to not get divorced and stay married. So
I think the part for me is that the fuel part is milestones in my marriage. If I see things that are changing, that's fuel for me. And it's like saying, okay, this is growing, this part's working on, this is what. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know what I mean? As long as you see as long as I see some change, and that's fuel for me. The empowerment for other couples for me is that they sometimes they're reluctant to come to our events, but when they get here, they see that it's a different type of environment, especially for the males. The males,
we mostly get a lot of men. A lot of women are like, "Oh, that sounds like fun, but I know my husband won't want to do it." And then they finally get them out, and the husband is like, "All right, when is next time? We'll see y'all next." You know, because we do some things like we went paintballing. We went to the shooting range twice. We went to the shooting range, and just different activities to try to get the men involved, like rock climbing and stuff like that. But a lot of women, that's like the hesitation. Like, I don't know if they would do that, and then when they get here, it's like, oh my gosh, you know.
So yeah, with that reluctancy, the men, they get surprised more or less when they come here because, oh, it is something here for me. It's not just a counseling session and stuff like that. Most of the, I don't say most ideas, but my aspect of the idea, my input was not just to be in just a strict counseling room where there's a clock, you can hear it ticking because you're waiting on it to be over with. It's something that can engage you and enrich you and even give you some kind of motivation. You know, who thought that we can shoot weapons, real ones and paintball?
Come on.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You're not going to shoot your spouse, but you know.
You may want to sometimes, but no. We try not to. Yeah. That night is about love, not war.
Not jail.
Right, not jail.
So yeah, that's the main key for me.
That's dope. And for Singles Exchange, one of our pillars is community. So like I said earlier, conversations, connections, and community. And I think I see a lot of that in date night too, because on your Facebook page and on your Instagram, you tend to throw out questions with the intent to start conversation. But within that, you begin to build this community of people. Just like we have the exchangers, you have the date nighters, and you begin to build this family within the organization.
For sure.
And I think that's really dope.
Thank you.
So our next question, pardon my notebook if you're looking at the video, what keeps you in your marriage besides love? So we're kind of transitioning to just the pairs.
I guess I can go first. So other than love that keeps you in your marriage, marriage has to be, for me, being intuitive. So intuitive in the sense of when there's things that are evolving that you're paying attention to them. And if you're not, then you would admit that you are not doing that, and then you're working on that. So being intuitive would be, I think, beneficial because everybody changes. The 20-year-old Doug is not the 38-year-old Doug. Well, I'm not the same. I'm not that old either. Okay. So, but I say it like I said.
I got a sugar daddy.
So my thing is this: is that some of the stuff as 20 I wouldn't do anymore. You know, I wouldn't. But some stuff like I can, like I can outrun some of my kids still. You know, that's phenomenal to me. You know, if I can do a 100-yard dash and I can beat you at 38. Yeah, I'm still young. Thank you. But we're gonna pray and ask God to come and intervene on these face gestures that I'm getting. But anyway, just to evolve. You can't stay the same. Your children are not gonna stay the same. So your marriage shouldn't stay the same.
That's good.
Good. What keeps me in my marriage besides loving my husband? I would definitely say God, my faith, my belief. I have a strong passion for marriage, just the sanctity of marriage, what God created marriage to be. I probably shared this before, but just the thought that, you know, God compares, you know, Jesus as the bridegroom coming for his bride, and he considers us, the church, his bride. Like the fact that God's love for us, the analogy he chose to use was a husband and a wife, that just blesses me, because that's a lot to live up to. The title of a wife, like there is so much in that. The title of a husband is so much in that, and so many people take it lightly when you vow to love, to cherish, to honor, to respect, in sickness and in health, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor. You know, some people say, oh, we got married too young, so, you know, we just gonna get divorced. No, you said in all aspects that you guys were gonna work it out. So what happened to the work? So many people don't want to do the work. So even though our marriage is not perfect and there have been bumps along the way, just remembering why, you know, why we chose to be together in the beginning, and the fact that God honors marriage. He blesses it. The word of God says that a man who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor. So when I think about that, it's like, okay, it's more to it than just me and how I'm feeling right now. There's more value and there's more at stake. So those kind of thoughts and that passion that I have for marriage really helps to keep me in my marriage, besides love.
I'm here for it. And another thing that date night focuses on is love, which is an acronym for
living our vows every day.
And I think that's important too. Right.
Right. You gotta live your vows every day.
You should.
You should. Definitely.
So my next question is, where do you want to go? How has your marriage changed over time? And how does that correlate with intentional dating? We talked a lot in August. I know the thing for date night was in it for the long shot. And it was about being intentional to keep your marriage thriving for the long run. So just tell me a little bit about how marriages change, or how your marriage changed over time, and how you had to adjust with that.
Okay, so you said a key word. You said intentional. You have to be intentional, because life will take you on a roller coaster. We all know that things happen. I know when me and Doug first got together, when we first met in Korea, there is no way that we would have even thought that we'd be where we are now. So things definitely change, and life has hit us with some blows, and it's also blessed us with some blessings. We got 6 beautiful children that, you know, I had no plans on having children. So of course, you know, that changed some things. We both suffered some great losses with our mothers and grandparents and things like that together. We've been homeless. Like, we've been through some serious challenges. And like I said, we received some serious blessings, because 6 babies, although I was not planning to have babies, they are the world, you know. I wouldn't trade them for anything. So you definitely have to be intentional, because life will throw things at you. Not just life, but we, again, Date Night is a faith-based organization, so we definitely believe that there is a common enemy out there, and that his goal is to destroy marriages. The Bible talks so much about the power of 2 coming together, touching and agreeing on things. He doesn't want that. So his goal is to come. You can't be any closer to someone than sleeping with them. Like, that is as close as you can get intertwined with somebody, for real. So the enemy wants to come against that. You know, he does not want that power. When they talk about a power couple, that's a power couple.
Come on.
And he does not want that. So there's always going to be challenges. So you have to be intentional. And challenges are slick and sneaky. I remember being in church when I was younger, and they used to say, you know, the devil not always going to have, you know, the ears and the pitchfork and the red tail. And, you know, he's not always going to be visible. Sometimes he might be in a slick suit, looking fine as all get out. You know what I mean? The devil will come in many disguises. And that's the thing with being intentional. It may not be on purpose, but things will happen. Like, you know, the kids have activities going on. I got work, or you got work, or we have a nonprofit organization. We have another small business we're starting. Like, it's so many things going on. Doug is starting a fitness center. Like, it's a lot of different activities and things that are going on. At one point, he was doing personal training. Like, at one point, I was operating a business on weekends, you know, doing poetry. Like, we've had so many different things happening that where's the time for us? You know what I mean? Where is the time for being in a marriage? It's just like with a plant, you know, you got to water that thing, you got to take care of it and nurture it for it to grow. And if you're not nurturing, if you're not intentional about the dating and the little gestures to keep your marriage strong, it'll fail.
I also think that being intentional should not be dictated by your feelings. Because if you're intentional about something, you have it set in your mind that something has to work or something has to be, something has to come out of this. So that's a work ethic, actually. But as you know, some things happen, and so you have to be able to be intentional with your feelings being not so much out of play, but with your feelings being in check, if I can use that word, because the intent, root word intentional is intent, meaning that you want something to happen, and then the work ethic comes behind it. So I'm learning that now, not like perfect or anything like that, because sometimes you don't feel like doing stuff. You just don't feel like doing it. It may not even deal with your spouse. It may have something to do with your work or whatever, but those intentional movements break ground on things that may need to be removed, or they may be able to be a stack stone or a stepping stool for something higher. And if you don't use that platform, I suggest that you should start, because there's some days you won't feel it. Like, I ain't feeling this. Well, you're not very intentional.
That's good. That's really good. Okay, so this last question is a two-part question, but I'll kind of wrap it around twice. So the first part of that question is, what advice would you give to any married couples? We're in 2020, we're in the midst of a pandemic. A lot of people are having to adjust their households because of remote learning and changes in jobs and careers. Like, all this stuff is happening. So what advice would you give to couples right now?
So my first bit of advice would be always keep God first. But I would advise, a couple currently right now in the middle of everything that's going on, to remember that you're a team. Do not lose sight of the fact that you're a team, and whatever goals you're working toward, you as a team can achieve those goals if you don't lose sight of the fact that you're a team. Don't let the enemy come in and tell you, oh, this person is lacking in this area, or, oh, your husband not contributing as much as you are, or oh, your wife being lazy, or whatever it is that the enemy tries to spew at you. Reject those thoughts, renew your mind daily, and remember that this is my teammate. And devil, if you're gonna come after my teammate, you coming after me. And now you got a fight on your hands because I'm a fighter. Like, be very repetitive in your thoughts of the fact that you and your spouse are a team, and that anything contrary to that is against your marriage, and it's against you as a person. Because when I said I do to this man, we became one. The Bible said the two became one. So we are one now. So anything that is contrary or negative that the enemy is trying to pile on him, it's weighing me down. So now I'm leaning, I'm not even up straight anymore, because now I'm dragging because I done let an attack happen to my other half. So definitely remember that you are a team. And my third little bit, remember to pray, because as much as we like to think we can change people, we cannot. The word of God says only God can change the heart of man. So if they tripping, just go tell God on them. It's okay. Pray and tell his daddy on them, and he'll get them together. Trust me, it works.
I'll add a little bit to that. So with today's society, there's a lot of stuff going on. Everybody knows COVID-19 is an issue, and finances, the job market, and stuff like that. The problem that I'm seeing in couples or marriages, or what advice I would give, is that you had an original blueprint when you first got married. A lot of couples don't realize is that blueprint could be messed with as soon as you start building. So your contractors may forget tools. Your foreman may forget how to schedule people. I'm just saying as a euphemism, but in your life, there's things that are going to happen. The problem is that the devil is like that. He tries to mess up the blueprint that you originally tried to start. COVID, I don't know, financial issues, whatever. But the problem is that you can't have two different blueprints for one project.
That's good.
And that's where the problem comes in. If there's an issue that divides the family, divides the husband and wife, then they'll start drawing their own blueprints, and then you have chaos. And then find out that you're going against each other, which God doesn't like that. So you're trying to build some over here and it'll fail, and she'll try to build some over there and it'll fail, because you're doing it against each other. You know what I mean? You're not doing it with each other.
And you're doing it without that power that I
Right.
talked about before, because anybody can build something. You know, some people say, well, I'm waiting till I start my business and get it off the ground and then I'm gonna get married. Anybody can build something, but for it to have the sure foundation that you need, sometimes it's gonna take two. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take that second party, because the things that you're lacking, your spouse may be well versed in. And that's the one thing that you're needing. That's why the Bible calls it a helpmate, because they're helping you to be better. But if you got it set in your head that I got this, I can do bad all by myself, you're right, you can do bad all by yourself.
Not good.
But if you want to do good, you want to do well, you want to exceed and excel,
That's good.
you might need a partner.
That's real good.
And what's a better partner than somebody who your livelihood depends on this thing that you're putting out here,
Yeah.
right? It means a lot to you. You can ask your friends to sow into it and to help and to build, but they don't have as much skin in the game as you do, because it's your baby.
That's right.
Your spouse is your baby. Like it's their baby too. You know what I'm saying? You ain't raising no bastard. You having a full-grown, loving child, right? So that means that if it's my baby and I'm sewing into it, why not include him and let his input help where I'm lacking, his energy help where I'm lacking, so that what we build can actually succeed.
That's good. That's good.
That was my soapbox. Let me get on.
But that's important in dating too. Like you have to, when you're out here dating, single and dating, you need to be aware of those things. Like, okay, I pray, and Lord, you know, lead me to the right person, point me in the right direction, because you don't want to build a house that's faulty. You want it to have a good, firm foundation. And then, like I said, date, go out here, see what's available, see what, you know what I'm saying? And then once you meet that person, guess what? The dating doesn't stop.
Honey.
Continue to commune together and grow together, because we're all changing all the time.
That's good.
So.
So the last part of that question, which you led right into it, what advice would you give to singles, a single woman, or in your case, a single guy who desires marriage?
Okay, I can go first. For single gentlemen, you have to be able, to me, is be grounded yourself. You know what I mean? I had a discussion like this with my wife, and I said that a male, for him to marry a woman, he would have to be like stable. Now, we all think about stability like a job or whatever like that, but that's not all that's needed. What's needed is that he has to be stable mentally, spiritually, physically, because you're not, when you get married, this is not like a sprint, this is a marathon.
Maybe.
And there's a lot of ground to cover, you know what I mean? So, yeah, when you start a race, I'm not sprinting on a marathon, I'm jogging. Or it's gonna be a Ranger run, because I am running slow, because there's a lot of things that have to be covered on this run. And not only that, when you're involving someone else in your life and you haven't established that, then you have to ask. Not everybody gets that too when it up front. Let me say that too, because some things have perpetuated the cycle. Like your dad didn't do what he's supposed to do, your mom didn't do what she's supposed to do. Now you look like this. Now I'm looking like I'm looking, and then I'm gonna bring somebody else in this man. I'm not doing that, but that's the point. The point is to bring yourself to stability, then invite somebody in your life, and then you show her, this is what I'm doing right now. Then you can critique on how she fits in that mold, and then she'll have her own mold to do in that. The problem is that if you hand her all it to her, she gonna take it. She gonna take it. Then you be looking like you looking like I could. No. I was stable, lady, when you got here. I was stable here. you fit in this mold, and that's your mold, but this mold is fit together. It's not fit separately. You know what I mean? And that's why I said, it's like, I don't downplay other men or even myself who didn't get that platform before they leaped. And that's a problem. Yes, I'll address that. That's a problem. But it's even more so worse if you don't try to fix it. I'm gonna say one more thing. This is related to people who, males who have female children, and women who have male children. When I was raising my grandmother, she put me around other men to try to teach me how to be a man. And my dad wasn't around, so she tried to teach me that, give me some platform. And it's the same to me for women who have male children that are single, that have the opportunity to try to meet someone else. You are raising someone from a platform that you don't know anything about. You don't know anything about it, but that's not your fault. What's your fault is if you don't bring him in front of people who they want to look like, who they want to image. If I'm a single parent with a female child, I'm gonna bring her in front of someone who is doing the right thing as a female. Or I'm gonna do that as a female mother, a single mother of a male child. I'm gonna bring him in front of another male that's doing something. And how is this related to being married? It has absolutely everything to do with that, because what you're doing is teaching your children or teaching yourself that just because I didn't get it doesn't mean that the next generation shouldn't get it. You know what I mean? So give yourself a platform before you invite someone else out. And this goes for people who are looking to get married and they have children. You know what I'm saying? You have a male that's coming in that's not that child's father. What are you going to do then? Oh man, we got to get this together real quick because we got a blended family going on here. So now that's the thing. It's not an undergird. I don't want to call it that. I want to call it stability. You present yourself stable so they fit in their molds.
That's good.
That's good. I think that's important for guys to kind of have a basis together before they bring somebody in. Because as women, we come alongside and we help. Like, you got this great plan, guy, but let me help bring it to fruition. Let me put some detail in it. Let me put some sister in it and bring it to fruition. Right. Because that's the real thing. God created man and was like, dang, you know what? I'm gonna make a woman because this is gonna make all that better. We make them better. That's just what we do. So I make you better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my
we
advice,
good though. We good.
You good.
We good.
But we make you great.
We good.
We make you great. You living your life.
It's not good for man to be alone.
It's not good. You're right.
So be great.
He live his life, then we come along and they live their best life.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm just saying.
Just be great.
My advice for a single woman who desires to be married. I know y'all hate to hear this. I absolutely know. Because I have friends who are single and they hate when I say it. Be patient. Patience is a virtue and you want to be a virtuous wife. Be patient. Don't be in a hurry. Don't feel rushed. Don't feel like, oh, by this certain age, I want to be married. Or by this, don't put time limits on yourself. None of us know how long we have on this earth. We don't know what God has granted us as far as our time here. Don't spend your time pining away or waiting or rushing, not waiting, but rushing to get to a point. I noticed that now. I wish I would have realized that when I was younger. I was always rushing to get to a point, and I was never enjoying the journey to get there. So I was like, okay, I had my second son. I'm like, okay, I need to get down to this weight. And that was where all my focus and all my energy went. And time went on, and I missed out on opportunities and things because I was so focused on this goal. Then it was, oh, I'm gonna get my business going. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do. And I get so focused on these goals that I forget to enjoy the journey. It truly was not until I got sister locks, which I know is crazy. But it wasn't until I got sister locks, I was getting ready to get them, and I was looking at all these different videos, and I cut my hair off to about 3 inches to get my sister locks, you know. And The lady on the video says so many people want their hair long. They want the long, luxurious locks. They want to toss their hair and all that. She was like, but enjoy your journey. And that has stuck with me ever since. Enjoy my journey. It's not about rushing to get to a destination. I feel like with my oldest son, I was always rushing to try to build wealth and build all these things. And now he's about to leave my house. And it's like, oh my God, like where did the time go, you know? So enjoy the journey. Don't let your angst to get married or be in a relationship, don't let that be the driving force in your life. Enjoy your life. And what's funny about that is when you start enjoying your life, that's when husbands pop up. That's the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. When you are in your element and enjoying your life, for some reason, that's when God says, oh, okay, he can come now. And I don't know why that is, but more often than not, that's what I hear from women. Like, I was doing my thing before he came along. Like, I was in my element. I was doing me. And he came along. So enjoy your journey and be in your element. Do what you know God has called you to do. Follow your purpose, your plan, your vision, and just do what you're supposed to do. And he will come. Trust me, he will come. But be patient and enjoy the journey.
That's good. Well, thank you both for participating. Before we go, please tell them where you can find Date Night and how, all that good stuff.
Where can you find Date Night?
So we have many platforms. We have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
So be sure to tune in to like, subscribe,
share.
Doug does Married Men Mondays.
Yes.
So
It'll be this Monday.
This Monday he does just little videos and sometimes like Facebook Lives for the guys. I'm available for Wifey Wednesdays and just Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. That's where we are.
And that is D,
the number 8, N-I-T-E. If you can see it on our shirts. D, the number 8, and then N-I-T-E, Date Night.
All right. So be sure to check them out. Like she said, be sure to subscribe. You know, you can subscribe to hashtags. So follow Married Man Mondays, follow Wifey Wednesdays, and follow Date Night because you don't want to miss what we got coming up.
Right.
All right. So exchangers, you know the drill. If you know somebody that would have benefited from this video, share it with them.
Yes.
You know, we all got married friends or engaged or seriously dating. So share this with your people, and we'll talk to you soon. Let's exchange.